On this episode of AV Week, I get surprised by my friends, and we are celebrating episode 500 because it was about 10 years ago that we started AV Week. So check this out. We have some fun, but we do talk about some topics as well. So all that and more next on AV Week.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by Kramer and by Vadio.
This is AV Week, episode 500.
Congratulations, Tim. You did it. 500. And it did freeze over.
Holy cow, dude. 500 episodes. Congratulations.
AVNation, 500 episodes. That's amazing. Congrats. Thanks for everything you do for our industry.
500 episodes. Now that's impressive. Tim knows my favorite ones are the ones we do at 7 a.m. after late nights.
Congratulations to Tim and the team at AV Week for 500 episodes of the most warm, insightful, up to the minute, and genuinely fun AV podcasts out there. Keep up the great work, guys.
Congratulations, my friend, on a crowning achievement of 500 massive episodes, and only, 20 to 30 of them are you stuck with me, sometimes Bradford. But in all seriousness, congratulations, my friend. It's amazing to see where AVNation has come from the beginning and our humble beginnings to where we are today. Congratulations, buddy. Talk to you soon. Oh, and hey, Tim, calm down.
500? Has it really been 500? Well, congratulations on that. And it's truly been an honor to take that journey with you. And I look forward to many, many more. And to our breaking bread together soon in person. To you, Tim, and the team at AVNation.
Tim, you're great at what you do. And when you launched AVNation, you applied it to our industry in a really cool way. Congratulations on your 500th episode.
Yay, 500th episode. What an accomplishment. That's so exciting. Congrats, Tim and Matt and Bradford and George and Don. I'm grateful to call you guys friends, and I'm proud of everything you've accomplished. So congrats, and cheers to the next 500 episodes.
Thanks for all you do, Tim. You've created a great community for the AV industry. And in 500 episodes, you've given a lot of people a voice and a venue for their passions and their perspective. I can't wait to see what you're going to accomplish in your next 10 years.
This is Mitch, the producer, usually in the background for obvious reasons, wishing Tim a happy quincentennial episode. I think it's crazy. I've been here since 380. So thank you first for giving me a job. And I really think this just speaks to how loved you are in this industry, not just AVNation, but Tim, you have such a profound impact on this industry to bring so many people together. So truly, thank you. Now, enough of the staffing crap. Let's get back to it.
Hey, Tim, congratulations on your 500th episode. That's awesome. Looking forward to another 500 more. All the best.
It's a shout out to Tim Albright and crew at AVNation. Congratulations on your 500th episode. Thank you for all you've done for the industry. Woohoo!
500. 500. That's a lot of numbers in podcast world. Congratulations, AVNation. Congratulations, Tim Albright. Knowing that this started as just a little, get together that you pressed record and see what would happen from that point on.
Hey, Tim, congrats on episode 500. I really appreciate what you've done for the industry and the opportunities you provided. Rich and I really enjoy doing a state of control, and I really feel like I've grown so much from being part of the AVNation family, and I've also gained a good friend. So thanks. I'm so glad that we've had the opportunity to meet and work together, and it's all because of AVNation.
This is Mike Blackman saying congratulations to the AVNation team on your 500th edition. Mitchell and Tim, congratulations. Great job. I'm looking forward to the next 500.
Congratulations, Tim, on the 500th AV Week. It's quite a feat, my friend, and I wish you many more to come.
I can't believe it, Tim. 500 episodes of AV Week. What an amazing accomplishment. Personally, my favorite, episode number 62. And I'm glad you learned how to pronounce my name. Love you, sir.
500 episodes. Let's go. Rise and grind, Tim. Congratulations on all your success. Can't wait to see what you do next, my friend.
Hey, Tim. It's Peter Herr from Shure. Congrats on your 500th episode of AV Week. That's super exciting. Have a good one. Take care, my friend.
Hey, Tim and the AVNation family. I just wanted to wish you a congratulations on 500 episodes of AV Week. I've always enjoyed every appearance I've been able to make on it. I'm glad to see that it's having such great success. Here's to 500 more.
Congratulations to Tim and the crew at AVNation for 500 episodes of AV Week from us here at the Castle.
Cheers!
Woo!
Cheers!
Hey, Tim. I'm coming to you live from up the road in Washington County, Illinois. Congratulations on 500 episodes. I've enjoyed every one that I've been part of. Here's to 500 more. Go Bears.
Tim, congratulations on episode 500. To think this started all these years ago in a Google Plus room where a bunch of individuals got together and said, hey, let's try seeing how this Google Hangouts thing works. And lo and behold, 500 episodes later, here we are.
Hey, Tim. Congratulations on your 500th episode. Great job, man.
Tim Albert, 500 episodes. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. Cheers to the next 500. Can't wait.
Congratulations to my favorite team members and friends, AVNation Media, on our 500th episode.
Hello, my friends at AVNation. Hey, this is Clint Hoffman from Kramer Electronics wishing you congratulations on your 500th episode of AV Week. Quite an accomplishment.
Hi, Tim. It's Lindsay. I am so excited and proud of you for making it to 500 episodes. 2020 was a hell of a year, friend. But you know what one of the absolute bright spots of mine was? You. I can't believe. Actually, scratch that. I can totally believe that you've made it 500 and you're going to keep leading a team, leading a passionate program into 2021 and beyond. Way to go.
Congratulations, Tim, Matt, George, Bradford, and the entire AVNation crew. What a milestone. So happy for you.
Wow. 500 episodes of AV Week. That is an amazing milestone and accomplishment. Congratulations to you and the whole AVNation team from the whole team here at Residential Systems, which is us.
Hello, this is Joel from Shure. Congrats to Tim and Mitchell at AV Week for their 500th episode. Thanks for having me as a guest, and we'll talk to you soon.
Tim, many congratulations from everybody here in the UK on your AV Week 500th episode.
Congratulations, Tim, on your 500th episode. Can't wait to celebrate.
Tim Albright, congratulations on your 500th episode of AVNation. Thanks for being a continued trusted source of news for the industry, a great friend, and also a great supporter. Always a pleasure being on your show. You keep it fun and super classy. Cheers to you and 500 more, my friend.
Congratulations, Tim and AVNation, on 500 episodes of AV Week. So proud to be a part of your community and have you be a part of ours.
This is AV Week. Congratulations, Tim. You rock.
Congratulations on 500 solid AV Weeks.
Well, from everybody here at Extron, congratulations, AVNation, and in particular to you, Tim. 500 episodes, that is quite a milestone. You guys should be very proud, and we're very proud to be working with you. So keep up the great work, and congrats.
Tim Albright, your friends here at Peerless AV want to congratulate you on an amazing feat. Number 500 from an industry that's very, very lucky to have you. Great job.
From your Jeep family in Georgia.
Congratulations on your 500th episode. Love you, Tim.
Hey Tim, it's Dave Globke from Harmon. Just wishing you a happy 500th birthday.
Dad, they need 500 episodes.
Episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's only like one episode a year.
Tim, 500 episodes. Quite the ride, my friend.
I look forward to seeing 500 more episodes and bigger and better things to come. Again, congratulations.
There are few shows that have reached 500 episodes. Some of them include Lassie, The Real World, and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And now AVNation has joined that ranks. Congrats, Tim and team.
This is AVWeek. Episode 500, recorded Friday, March 19th, 2021. And now, here's your host with the most, Tim Albright.
Oh, yeah, Tim. Sorry, it was, Tim
Not
Albright.
that guy.
Insert clap.
Which guy? Oh, yeah, it's Tim. Hey, Tim.
I want to point out here that Nairi has been the nicest to me so far. I want to point that out to you. Now,
He didn't have to edit your crap grammar for 4 years.
Granted, he's a tech fan, but I'll
right,
you know,
baby.
and
So
I'm
sorry you're stuck.
I'm a
Jack
dogs fan. So
He's
but
also
we'll
thinking to himself, what did
Hopefully
I get
that's
myself into?
Butler Bulldogs, right?
All right. So that what they just said, it's episode 500. So I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't going to do anything for this episode. I was simply going to say this is AV Week, and my fantastic guests, Nairi Hollingsworth, Corey Schaefer, and Jeremy Caldera were the original ones on the docket. And then I've got these three other yahoos, and Mitchell is somewhere in the background. The other yahoos, in case you're not watching the video, is Mr. Bradford Ben, Matt D. Scott, and oh my gosh, Mr. JD Josh Schrago.
That's Juris Doctorate, so it's Dr. Schrago now.
Well, I said JD, Juris, anyhow. So yeah, I was going to say at the very end, thank you guys so much for watching for the last 10 years. This is episode 500. Yeah.
And then Michelle reached out to us, and then I reached out to Mitchell, and then I started doing, I warned Corey. You didn't have Jeremy and Nairi on your calendar, so I couldn't warn them. And then I got Josh and Matt to show up and figured that's enough chaos.
And then, so Megan Dutta, our buddy from STN, she lives in Chicago, which if you're not familiar with the States, it's about 5 hours that way from me because I'm
200 miles.
Caldera is halfway between there. And so Megan drove down. Our friends over at CTI, who are our new owners, Kathy Kelly and Brandon Connick, drove over from St. Louis to surprise us. So that was we've got a cake over there and some very nice barbecue. So that was my surprise this afternoon when I came out of my office and got ready to record the show. So thank you guys. Seriously, I do appreciate it.
Love it.
I'm not sure what exactly Mitchell is going to do with all of the ramblings and recordings we started before we started this. Bradford did a fantastic job of explaining, the last 10 years and how we got started. I'll say something towards.
It was mostly true.
It was mostly true. The names have been redacted to protect the innocent.
There's no one innocent in this group.
No, Nairi. Again, Nairi has been the nicest person here.
Nairi, are you innocent?
We'll go with that. Yes.
Yeah.
Although if Neto listens to this, he'll disagree with that. So we did have a couple of stories, and I'm not going to necessarily go through all of them because I don't want this to be an hour-long episode.
Those are the fun ones, though.
I know. We haven't had an hour-long one in a very long time, and that's
I even cut Matt off on my podcast because he was getting long-winded.
Yeah, a little bit.
That is what Matt does, though.
I'm very practiced at it.
And you had some very nice name drops, Mr. Joe Way, and you had technically me, and a couple others.
We named dropped you.
We name dropped you twice.
I said me. Didn't you cut out one of the name drops though?
Which one, it's at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's the outtakes. See, that's what you should do, Mitchell. Take these and put the outtakes after the credits, so that way we can get the full play counts.
As a completely separate recording, though, Mitchell. So I mean, just like in general, every week there is something that happens. I'm not necessarily sure that any of these stories are life threatening or life changing. Mitchell, go ahead and put the links up though, just because it is interesting. The one thing I do want to pick all of your brains, and I'm really, really interested in Schrago because he didn't technically live through this as an AV industry person, but he did as a student. We mentioned the fact that Mr. Schrago just got his jurisprudence JD degree. I don't know, jurisprudence. It sounds nice. You got your law degree, Yehu.
And that's why his life was so hard as an editor.
It was.
He just makes up words.
But Nairi, I do want to start with you on this, and I'll ask you all, you guys, on the all around. 10 years ago, we started this, and we're sitting here in 2021, trying to get back to work, trying to get back into spaces. Did you think in the last 10 years ago, would you have predicted the situation that we're in now and how we all leveraged AV to get around it?
I could predict how we would leverage AV to get around it, but the speed at which we adopted the technology, and I use the global we, adopted the technology and used it to keep businesses running and essential functions going, did surprise me a lot. We've been doing this for a long time. We knew what the possibilities were. We were preparing for this, at least I was, for organizations to be as telework friendly as they have to be now. And so all of those kind of dominoes were those bricks were being laid, but the speed at which I've seen organizations just turn on a dime and adopt the technology and adapt it to their work processes, that was surprising to me.
All right, Strego, I picked on you because you were a student a year ago, and you managed to graduate in all of this. What was that experience like? And what was it like as a student, but also as somebody who has grown up in this industry, knowing what was possible, even though sometimes it wasn't used?
I got a whole new perspective as somebody who, when the pandemic hit a year ago, we went from fully in-person classes, and law school is being Socratic method and things. It's all about the interaction with the professors and with other students. So we have that. With that suddenly going away and all of it being online, now you have a generation gap. Was kind of one of the interesting parts, where professors that aren't digital natives and are far from digital natives. I actually had a professor who worked for MCI when email was first becoming a thing.
You had a law professor that worked for MCI.
Yeah.
There's a joke there that I just won't do. Go ahead.
And so we were, what ended up happening was I basically said, look, our IT department was so bogged down with student questions because they never bothered to train the students that we had Zoom accounts to start with, that I started offering my services to the professors to train them. And so I was doing one-on-one trainings and one-on-one coachings through Zoom with a lot of my former professors, and they were putting out the word. And so I was getting questions from professors I didn't have, just trying to find a way to help, because it kind of came down to, we have to do this. This is what we're experiencing. We got to go through this. And it was hard because they would get frustrated. And so sometimes classes just wouldn't happen, or you'd get into the issues of really poor network connections. And so they wouldn't be able to share their screens. And so it made it a lot harder for students to learn because you're not seeing any materials anymore. And it's sort of, you check out. I mean, I can say the exhaustion of online classes for a year was ridiculous. By the time I was done, I had done spring, summer, and fall terms. So I was in Zoom classes 4 or 5 days a week for 9 months. And I was just done by the time I was out. So knowing what I knew and realizing how poor the translation is from expert technologist and service provider and designer and all of those things to the everyday user, there is this knowledge barrier between the two. And there's a lack of empathy that really existed for those that were struggling to figure out how to do this, because people were just getting so frustrated so quickly because of everything and the stressors and the emotional and mental strain. And it was a really interesting time to see how a lot of people that were digital natives just had no patience and basically gave up. And other people who were trying to figure out how to make this work and trying to make this work for others, it became a 14-hour-a-day job. And so it was this really, really interesting dichotomy between those two, watching that happen. Whereas I literally went back to being a consultant to a certain degree. I sat in front of my giant, monitors that I had acquired during my AV career, and, in my comfortable home office with my either really strong Comcast connection or my fiber connection now, because I fiber to the home, woo! And it wasn't as big a deal for me. It just kind of became exhausting after a while. But it was more of a, how can I find ways to help? And what it really did was allow us to tell the story better of how technology integrates into people's lives in more ways than they realize, and how it facilitates the human connection, how it facilitates the exchange of knowledge, how it facilitates all of these things. And I mean, I'm getting close to Matt Scott winded state at this point. Like, I just keep going on and on. I would need another 45 minutes to fully hit that mark, but I'm going to stop right there.
So I'll stop you now and transition. Bradford, and there's a method to my madness here, and we'll end with Matt and Caldera, the two integrators here. Bradford, you had feet in end user land, right? So you were with Nairi, but you also had just come from manufacturer land. So give me your perspective on COVID and AV and getting out of this.
Well, actually, about a year ago, I wrote a blog about this, and I think it still holds true. We in the AV industry have the chance to be the helpers that Mr. Rogers believes we are, and help people get stuff done. And I think that was a big change. The first 4 months, though, like Josh was saying, a whole lot of hand-holding. There was a lot of time I spent, explaining you don't have to shout on a conference call. If you're connected through the computer, you don't have to dial in. So there was a lot of IT throwing stuff over the wall and reacting quickly. But then stuff started to kind of gel together a little bit. And then it started to become, okay, this is fully functional and reasonable. But then came the overuse of Zoom and the overuse of meetings and people forgetting to book time between meetings and stuff like that. But then there were also chances where, to quote Mr. Bowie, we could be heroes just for one day. Yes, I had to do it, Tim, just for you.
I point out the fact that Bradford has brought in Mr. Rogers and David Bowie.
Yes.
Probably the only person that could do that. So
thank you.
Right.
But the big thing is we also had a huge role to play in telehealth, and helping friends with that to me was better than helping people at work, because you actually had an impact on someone's life, not their job. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, Corey, 100% manufacturing. Talk for a second about, seeing your products, being leveraged to, like Bradford said, impact people's lives for the better, right? Whether that was the folks that were going home and working from home, or the people that were still necessary and having to be in the office, but doing so and connecting with folks remotely.
So as a manufacturer, we saw a big uptick in people purchasing video and encoders, decoders, and honestly had a hard time keeping them in stock. And we saw the biggest heroes being really in the higher ed vertical, because we were in Q2. People were planning their builds for the summer, and they immediately had to pivot in how they did things. So versus doing the full campus build, they needed to accommodate students that were working from home, instructors who wanted to teach in the space, et cetera. So it was great for business, actually, on that side, on the video side. And now, even in the corporate enterprise market, as we look at bringing people back for hybrid, because we're never going to go back to the way things were, video is a huge push to upgrade every room for video if they didn't have video before.
All right. Mr. Caldera, from an integrator standpoint, and Jeremy has a number of interesting stories from the last year. some of which have been told on this very program. One was the fact of him in a deserted downtown Chicago. Just Chicago was deserted, period. And Jeremy was still there doing his job. What have you learned, both from what clients have asked, plus what folks like Corey and other manufacturers have brought to the table?
I mean, like she said, it's all video all the time now, right? I mean, I remember, not that long ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, we're having discussions of, when we build out a huddle room, is it presentation only? Is it going to be audio conferencing only? Is it going to be video conferencing only? Are we going to invest in the infrastructure to handle the video side of things? That's not even a conversation anymore. Everything is pretty much video enabled. And even if it's a small huddle presentation type space, it's using the internal camera or whatever, they're still planning on some type of video conferencing. So, I think, going back to the question you asked at the very beginning of all this, right? Like, did 10 years ago, could have any of us predicted this? The answer is, I don't think so at all, right? A lot of what it was, and I don't think 10 years ago we would have been ready for this, even with the technology that we had then, right? I think we lucked out. Only in the last year or two has the Zooms and the Teams and all that stuff of the world been capable of allowing those corporations to shift on a dime to accommodate the at-home workers and the remote working and the hybrid model that is going to be going forward. So, for us as integrators, it's an exciting time because, like you said, we're here to help, right? We're the helpers that are going to make this work, right? We are going to not just sell the gear, which some people, you can buy cheap online, whatever, it'll work, it'll get by, right? But what's the experience you're going to get with that, right? And I think that we can come in and we can solidify a plan, as an integration company to work with anyone to, help them be a solution. So
we're big contributors to making sure the economy kept rolling, to be quite honest, right? So, it could have been really devastating.
And I think that people
Yes, it was and is.
Well, here's the thing. This has been said a number of times, and this is not my statement or brand new by any stretch of the imagination. But imagine if this had happened in the 1980s, right? Imagine this had happened in the 1970s. Corey's right. The economy would have ground to a halt in a lot of areas.
Depression level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would have been that way in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way. Like I look at my kids and their school and how they, again, as I talk about how fast, all industries pivoted to, being video centric. Like I went to high school in the 90s.
Yep.
There is no way we would have been able to do what we did with the level of technology and capabilities that we had, even in the 90s, even that recent as history. It really is the past, I would say 2 or 3 years, where it got really mature. 5 years, you probably could have faked it. 5 years ago, you probably could have faked it. But 10 years ago, it was still all appliance-based, Tandberg, Cisco, Poly, video conferencing. Right. And if you couldn't afford it, tough,
But I also think 10, 20, probably closer to 20 to 30 years ago, we would have found a different way, so to speak, of, correspondence school was a thing before online schools. Homeschooling was a thing before online. So, you look at some of the things that were done in the 40s, like building the atomic bomb, that was done without all this modern technology. You look at building, a rocket ship that went to the moon. That was done longhand and by sending letters back and forth via postal or through a carrier. So I think we would have not worked at the same level, but I also think we didn't have as much pressure back then because maybe you had, when in 1980s, I had a pager. There was no cell phone. It was fax machines and dial-ups were thoughts. So things just took time and people took that time. And now it's the urgency of now. So I agree with you, Nairi, that we wouldn't have been able to do this 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. But I think we as a species and, a society would have adapted. And I think
well, see, and this is where I want to be the rain on the parade here is
not you.
Man, I've missed you, Josh.
I missed you, Shrego.
We
I
talk
missed
about how
it
great
too.
and how wonderful AV, and it's none of anything that anybody has said is a lie. AV's failure in all of this, and continuing failure for the last 30 years, is not joining the advocacy groups to broaden access to these services. We are serving our clients and we stop there. We don't reach out and notice the fact that literally anywhere from 12 to 60 million people are still without a broadband internet connection to take advantage of these services. And that pisses me off because the industry refuses to expand and join that fight. And we have a valid case. We have the tools, we have the knowledge, we have the experience, but it won't join the fight. And it bothers me to no end that is still happening even now. And I mean, I got in a lot of trouble for this last year when I finally lost it on social media one day. And I basically told the industry to stop patting itself on the back because it's failing in that regard. It should be a part of this discussion because it provides more services and it provides that connection that other people aren't. And so why it's failing to do that has always been beyond me.
And that's more of an advocacy question. And actually, we had a conversation about that a couple of weeks ago when Shure came out trying to, lobby the FCC on certain, frequency sales. It's piecemeal. And I will give Josh, and yes, we give Josh a hard time, but there are parts that the industry itself hasn't done an incredible job, let's say in the last 10 years, advocating for themselves and advocating for their customers. Yes, certain manufacturers certainly do, and they do both on the local level and the federal level. But as a group, sometimes it does feel like we can do better. And just for the record, and I said this on the show and I said this on social, I'm not just talking about AVIXA. AVIXA is not the only game in town. AVIXA is not the only organization, right? There are several other organizations that could get involved and simply don't.
We've had so much power if others got involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
It comes down to something on a community level, though. It doesn't just need to be AVIXA or CEDIA or ISC or whatever CompTIA, whoever you want to put in there. Do the associations, do the organizations need to get out there and foster this? 100%. But so do the local companies. If you're not trying to see where your expertise can go out and help your local community, you're missing the ball. If you don't go out and find nonprofits in your community, they all need help with this. And what's it going to take? A couple man hours? Some leftover gear that you've pulled out of a job?
Or if a woman does it instead of man hours, just 20 minutes.
Exactly. The sheer amount of equipment that gets pulled out of all of our projects and just gets dumped and recycled that could go and help communities, families, people that don't have connections or access to computers or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Does it start at the top? Can the top make the example? It can, but it's something that I'd love to see more manufacturers, more integrators, definitely more integrators take a handle of.
And then all of us could do what Josh did, in helping people get online, right? So there's still that need, because the biggest challenge that people have had this year is that human connection, right? So the only connection we've had is, on phone, but we know video adds so much more to the connection, and everybody in the industry can help with that.
There's a couple organizations, and about a year ago, a little bit less than a year ago, because it was the first couple months of the pandemic. I want to say it was the New York Times did a story on the digital divide, and we talked with a buddy of ours, Ernie Beck, out of Baltimore. And if you're not familiar with Ernie's and his organization, he does a lot of this. He connects folks in the industry with folks that need equipment and technology. So check him out, as well as a number of other Chris Hope from the Loop Lab as well up in Boston. A number of really great organizations. Thanks so much for watching this first segment of AV Week. I actually have no clue which segment you're watching because Mitchell is the one editing. But if you'd like to check out the rest of the episode for free, click on the link below or go by the website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.